Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship Triple One here. So tomorrow Playground Games will be live streaming their third episode of Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go, and the main topic for the live stream will be engine sounds. Now, as we all know, back in Forza Horizon 4, let's just say the car sounds weren't very good. In fact, I have to be honest, they were terrible, and building up to the launch of Horizon 4, the way car sounds were spoken about with the process behind it, how much effort was put in, recording 4 times the amount of car sounds to emulate all the different seasons, it really sounded like engine noises were going to be better than ever. But of course, we were left utterly disappointed to the point where the lead audio designer went back on a live stream about 8 months after launch explaining the community what actually happened to the car sounds, how things like the weather and logistics affected the recording, and a whole lot more. And to many watching, it didn't feel as if Playground Games took any responsibility for the car sounds not being up to standards, but rather finding excuses to justify the lack in sound quality. Well, tomorrow Playground Games have a chance for redemption. I'm certainly looking forward to the live stream. I'm honestly rooting for them, as so far Horizon 5 has looked incredible in my opinion, and with car sounds being a staple in any racing video games, there's a lot of amendments that need to be made, but I'm also expecting that not everything can be fixed, which is why I'm hoping that these 3 sound problems will be addressed for Forza Horizon 5 in tomorrow's live stream. Starting off with number 1, no more bamboozling pre-launch. Okay, so before the launch of Forza Horizon 4, there was a live stream segment about the car sounds. Now, the host asked how were all these car sounds achieved with 450 cars from launch, and what was the process behind it all to make the car sound so good. Now, first off, I just want to say that in these pre-Horizon 4 launch live streams, we didn't really get to hear an array of different car sounds, but rather footage of selected cars, which of course, looking through hindsight now, made a lot more sense. Now, the lead audio designer answered the host's question by saying how much work was put into developing these car sounds. In fact, it was so intricate that they recorded sounds during different times of the day in different locations across all the seasons, along with verticality, because depending on the time and place, the car will sound different. Not only that, he also stated that producing sounds was 4 times as much work as they had to record through each season. Now, I'm not saying that what was said is untrue, however, the results certainly did not show. There is a possibility that the work was 4 times greater than they were with previous Horizon titles, but just ended up being very poorly executed. However, I don't think, and most within the community don't believe that's the case either. The car sounds ended up actually being worse in the series and arguably out of the entire franchise, which is saying something. I mean, they were so bad that they had to do a live stream segment on how the car sounds were developed 8 months after Horizon 4 launched, and now talking about how hard it was to get a car to the right location, the weather affecting the recordings, decibel limitations at an airstrip, and many more. Not only was this a massive 180 from what was said before the game launched, but Playground Games didn't seem like they took any responsibility for the issue either. I'm hoping for tomorrow's live stream that everything they say about the car sounds is genuine. If it's great, then say it's great. If it's not where they want it to be as of yet, don't still say the car sounds are great to quote-unquote sell the game. You guys are the developers, not the marketing team. Be transparent with the community. Say something like they are a huge improvement from Horizon 4, and should there be any cars not up to scratch at launch, we will update them in the very near future. This builds our trust with you, and the worst thing that can possibly happen is months after Horizon 5 launches to once again address why car sounds were terrible on a live stream again. Number 2, how it's recorded. Okay, so hearing how Playground Games record their vehicles, I don't know about you, but to me, it just sounded like a very inefficient and ineffective way to record a car. On their post-launch livestream, they revealed the challenges that they had to go through in recording car sounds. The process was first to locate a specific car that they needed to record, make sure it sounded good by getting the owners to send them a video of them driving the car around, then decide whether the car sounded good enough to make arrangements should they proceed. Then some logistical problems may be encountered, like sometimes the car may be really far away. On top of that, the owner of the vehicles need to make time ahead of their own schedule to make sure the car is available for Playground Games to record. This all sounds pretty difficult to plan already, but how the cars are recorded seems very inefficient. An airstrip is hired out depending on where the car is located, and remember, an airstrip doesn't just appear in every corner of the country, which then needs to be booked in advance as some of the airstrips are actually being used. Then they are faced with potential decibel restrictions, as these airstrips in the United Kingdom have a sound limit placed by local councils, and not only that, on the day the weather could be raining, making recording very difficult or possibly even cancelled. And also, because the runway is actually bumpy to help stop the planes during landing, it also makes recording car sounds more difficult. Sounds to me Playground Games chose one of the hardest routes ever to record car sounds. All the interference they could possibly get from the rain and puddles should the weather be bad on the day of recording. Wouldn't that dilute a lot of the car sounds that they are trying to record? Not only that, when you book 2 to 3 cars per session, that means all those cars on that day now have diluted car sounds, and no matter what post-processing software is used to remove all that interference, I can't imagine any of the car sounds would end up being as crisp as it should. Now, part of the argument for them using this recording method is they're trying to capture authentic car sounds relating to the United Kingdom. If that's the case, I can't imagine how it would be like for Forza Horizon 5 and Mexico. Imagine the logistics for that then. Playground Games will be absolutely screwed, especially with the pandemic in 2020. No way their current recording method would work for Horizon 5. I feel as though leading up to Horizon 4, there wasn't any problem solving. If it posed that many challenges and logistic problems that early, why continue using that method to record? It clearly showed in the final product, and I'm hoping Playground Games within the last 3 years have found a solution or a much more efficient and effective way to record the car sounds. Many have suggested to go back to dyno run recordings. These were used back in the older Forza titles, and the difference between the car sounds are truly night and day. I believe it's better to record a clear studio recording of a car sound, then add artificial sound effects like rain or wind later on, as opposed to the opposite. I can't personally tell you how Playground Games will record the car sounds for Horizon 5, but I sure hope they don't make the same mistake again. And lastly, number 3, use the right cars. I think by now you are all probably realizing that most of these points come from the one post-launch livestream about the car audio, but that's what we can only base this off right now. Ever heard of the saying, you are as good as your last fight? Well, same principle here, but on the stream they showcased some real life car sound footage and then compared it to the car sounds in Horizon 4. Now, I will say a small selection of cars actually sounded quite accurate, like the Mercedes-Benz A45 AMG, but what was with that Dodge Viper clip? They used the Gen 1 Dodge Viper with a terrible exhaust note, mic'd it up, and then used that as their Viper sound. And not only that, it was used across all generation of Vipers in the game. Just a simple YouTube search will give anyone a fair idea on how a Viper sounds, and it certainly sounds nothing like it does in Horizon 4. In Horizon 4, the Viper honestly sounds like a tractor or not running on all cylinders, and to use that as one of the showcase clips to justify the car sounds leads me to believe that they actually didn't record many different vehicles at all, which again could be because of the way they decided to record the car sounds. Another notable comparison was the R32 Skyline GTR in-game. The car sound was supposedly taken from this R33 Skyline GTS-T. Now, to play devil's advocate, it may have had an engine swap to an RB26, or could they actually lack the resources to get a GTR, so they just used a RB25 car sound for the GTR? It's certainly possible, but it does sound a little off compared to an actual RB26. I mean, these were the clips and cars they chose to showcase to us, and from the community's point of view, this was not a good look, because I would imagine they are showing these clips because they are very proud of it, but all it insinuates is everything but a positive outcome. How could they possibly imagine that one car sound could fit across all generations of that model is beyond me, especially for a game of this magnitude, but I'm just hoping for Horizon 5 that they actually use their real world counterparts to record the car sounds and really take their own advice to see if the car actually sounds good first before making arrangements to record the vehicle, as clearly that Viper was bad. With that said though, I sincerely hope that with at least these 3 problems hopefully being resolved, the car sounds will be much better and hopefully resemble more like it did in past Horizon titles. Hope you guys are eager to see tomorrow's live stream as much as I am, and comment down below on what you are hoping to see in regards to the car sounds for Forza Horizon 5. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button, as that would really help me out. And also, if you guys would like to see more Forza Horizon 5 news and possibly some early gameplay, make sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on. That way you won't ever miss out on another video that goes live, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.